Hey everyone, I'm starting a new tutorial series for the Blox Bash Party Create mode. For part one, I'll just show you the controls and how to use the tools. In general, how to use the tools. For each part, I'll explain the tools in more depth, but I'll just explain the basics of Create mode for part one. A lot of this stuff will be very basic. You probably already know how to do most of it, but some people are still new to the game, so I need to explain everything. In the next parts, I'll talk in much more depth. Okay, to start, I'll explain how to control the camera. You use the control stick to move the camera forwards, backwards, and left and right. And you can change the angle of the camera by holding the B button and pointing the Wii remote. If you use the C and Z buttons, you can zoom in and out. Use the 1 and 2 buttons to raise and lower the camera. Now I'll talk about the buttons that you use for building. Okay, the A button you just use to select. You use tools, everything with the A button. So A button to choose a tool, and A button to choose a block, and A button to place it. You use the A button a lot. You use the control pad after you select any object. You use the control pad to rotate it. So if I push control pad right, it rotates it that way, and control pad down, do that. And depending on which way you're looking at it, it'll rotate it different ways. To move an object, you just click it and drag with the A button. If you wanted to be precise with moving an object, you can select it and hold the B button and then tap the directional pad in the direction you want to move it. It'll move one space. And you can, this is an easy way to move blocks into the air. To undo, push the minus button, or you can use this. And to redo, push the plus button. Now that you know the controls, I'll talk a little bit about the tools. Using the first icon, you can select a basic shape of block to start working with. You can later change the size and do different things to the blocks, but this is where you start. Next you have the paint tool. You can change the properties of blocks by painting them with different types of paint. And there's 5 pages, so there's a whole bunch of different stuff to work with. I'll explain more about each different type of paint in part 3. Characters. Basically there are blue characters and red characters. Red represents evil and blue represents good. Each character does a different thing. Like, you can read a little bit of explanation of each character. Like this character he'll detonate bomb blocks. The yellow characters are neutral. If you have a blue character and a red character, they will fight. And different characters fight in different ways. I'll explain more about these in part 4. Now there's the toys. There's just different stuff to work with. I'll explain more about these later. Rules. There's different types of rules. If you're building a level with a goal, like pretend you made a tower and you were supposed to pull blocks out of it without knocking down the whole tower, then you would want to use rules to add scores and medals and stuff. And using this icon, you can use pre-made sets that you can just drag them from, they're already made. So, let me see, Blue Planet, you just use sets like that. You also have custom sets. You can create your own structure and then highlight it all and save it as a custom set. So then you can open it in any level you want. Again, I'll explain more about these later. These tools over here are used for manipulating objects. If you had a block, you use the select tool to get out of any of the other tools. So if I was in the erase tool and I wanted to select a block, then I would just use this. Then I can go back to the normal cursor. Then use the erase tool to erase stuff. And I'll undo. Then you use the scale tool to drag and change proportions and stuff, change sizes. Use the copy tool to copy stuff. And you can also group select with the select tool by clicking and dragging, and then you can copy more than one object. Then when you have all these selected, you can rotate them with the control pad and do whatever you want. And you use this tool to raise the building grid. So if I wanted to build up higher in the sky, then I would do that, and then I would also use the 1 button, and then you can build stuff up here. This tool just clears everything, and this is the hide tool. You can use it to, it's like the erase tool, but it actually just turns the block invisible. So if I had something like this, and then I had a whole bunch of, like an example would be my labyrinth levels. If I had the walls and I had mechanisms hidden behind the walls, and I wanted to change something with the mechanisms, I could hide this, then I could work with these, and then when I was done, I could unhide. See, if something's hidden and you click play, it shows up. So it's only hidden in create mode. Well, that's about it for part 1. For part 2, I'll explain how to use this tool. I'll explain the different types of blocks you can use and different tricks and stuff you can use these tools for. Thanks for watching.